sandwich if you want.
Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel, Leilani of Barbados. Super excited, just came back from Liberation Day. I'm actually so hot and sweaty right now because I think they were hot too, the Wessexes. That is, of course, unless Prince Edward has the same dysfunction as Prince Andrew where he can't sweat. Got him!
I have a peculiar medical condition, which is that I don't sweat, or I didn't sweat at the time.
We had to end up changing. I had to change my outfit. Today was Liberation Day here in Jersey, which is basically like an Independence Day, if you can imagine, for most countries, because it was when Jersey got its own independence from occupation of the Germans during the war. And this is the 77th year of the end of the German occupation during World War II. Since the COVID restrictions, we couldn't celebrate the 75th year, but we're making up for it. They had the balcony. Our balcony scene here in Jersey, where the Earl of Wessex and the Countess of Wessex stood up on the balcony to wave to everybody, and everybody was loving it, and it was a lot. Like, it was really hard to film it being there because, of course, crowds. I mean, even my son said, I wish I had recorded him when he said that, because he was quite astute in saying that maybe the whole island of Jersey is here, because so many people. It was just impossible with a crowd. But we still got to the front, and the serving members of the armed forces took part in the parade. Veterans and supporters of the Royal British Legion also marched. And I had a lovely talk with some people around there.
Happy Liberation Day! And it's our holiday, 77 years.
Yes.
Yeah.
And what does it signify for you?
Well, it signifies for me a very happy and special day to always remember, because my late father was here during the occupation, and he suffered.
Yeah.
And my mother was an evacuee.
Yes.
And my late husband's family were here during the occupation too.
Yes.
So today is a very special day for all of us.
And it's about freedom, so we can all appreciate that.
Yes.
We can all appreciate freedom.
Yes, we can. Yes. And happy days.
Yay, thank
happy
you.
Holidays.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It was very emotional for a lot of people. I think we can't underestimate how emotional it is for a lot of people to be part of such a historical moment. Everyone thinks that Jersey is like this banking capital and like offshore money and just funneling money and whatever. But actually, Jersey has its own history, and I'm very proud of that, because my son is half Jersey. So I like that, because I think history is very important. I think you cannot be a person without history. And of course, I have a very rich history coming from Barbados. So I always teach my son everything. I mean, I am the embodiment of Barbados. I was Miss Barbados, so I must be able to tell him everything. But I also want him to know his other half, which is Jersey. And there is a lot of history that they are very proud of. If you don't have a history, what even are you? Really? And there's a poet called John Henry who did a poem about the entire history of Jersey, and he said he had to revise it a bit because of the pandemic.
Of Jersey, 603,000 people, 45 square miles as viewed by seagull. Prevailing southwesterlies, offshore finance, main language English, though closer to France. But all that there is a view from above, lay of a land without landscape or love. So how to start, how to begin it, how to pack it all into 10 short minutes. Cause I can't plumb down to the very foundation.
Let's
the
go.
600-million-year-old shale formations, sediments sliding from streams that stroll somewhere close to the far South Pole. No time to view tectonic orogenies that thrust us up above smoking seas. No time for the magma that formed the granites, the rivers depositing Roselle's conglomerates. So fast forward near to geology's end.
Is he gonna keep rhyming like this?
Between friends to a quarter of a
That's
million years
amazing.
before
He's gonna keep
now.
rhyming like this.
Potatoes or the plough. An ice age makes the North
The
Plain
plough.
shiver. The English Channel's a far-off river, and the place we stand is a promontory, a prologue to our human story. Neanderthals. Locals now look below on game trails of mammoth.
He's a real performer.
Stage for the slaughter, they vault up a valley is now lost below water, adjusting grasp on sharp flint spears, signaling soft as the mammoth nears. Then roar from cover, rush over the bluff, but we're still too early, and there's too much stuff to go. But we know for a fact this happened. A Neanderthalis met Homo sapiens and interbred and begat and begot. As shown by his tooth from the caves at Lacotte, where there's 200,000 years of habitation, longer than so-called civilization. So that merits a mention before we depart for the British Isles' very earliest art. The Middle Stone Age, so a little bit later than 18,000 years till this day. Here, nomadically moving toward our locality, pioneer Magdalenian families, pitching tents from the cold and keening wind in the valley at Les Varines.
The audio could be better because there's a lot of feedback. But
stone plaquettes and secretly scrawled in the
I've been to a lot of these places, so I'm really excited.
From stag antler burins, your X-ray eyes can see this now. The horny head of a kind of cow, a human face as drawn by a drunk, and the fine outline of a mammoth's trunk. Moving on, what you shouldn't forget is none of these people are islanders yet. But things are hotting up. The ice age is over. The planet is losing its glacial cover, releasing loess, a shifting dust that covers the world with a fertile crust. And although it isn't important till later, it's gonna do wonders for the potatoes. This fertile little
potatoes
greets the next wave of immigration as up Europe's rivers, changing the ecology around them, bringing the very latest technology like axes. Suddenly all
he's at Hogby there, and I have a video on that, but I haven't edited it.
5,500 years ago, these people now bound to the
you know, the Jersey rolls are the best potatoes in the world.
To seed and to harvest the ground, so they raise up high a mighty mound. La Hugby on the £1 note. See the passageway
Hogby, yeah.
like a throat. It's great granite stones.
That's where the trolls hid all the coins. So Jersey's kind of been a place where they always hide money, I guess, in that sense.
When the sun shines down and a shaft of light creeps down the passageway, reaches on right
I'm
to the
taken.
wall,
I'm
the sun
taken by
rising
it.
over the door takes its light back down the corridor. Every year the sun rises, every year the sun takes. Dolmens start spreading all over the place. Menhir, Pukale, passage graves as trees recede in man-made waves of falling axe and fringing flame, clearing land for the hungry grain. But on the sun rises and on the sun takes.
It's like AB rhyme or AABB rhyme the whole time, which is amazing. He's amazing. He's very talented.
Whose aurochs plowed their way through fields now drowned beneath St. Juan's Bay. Past Iron Age tribe, the Coreo.
Yes, drone shots and everything.
In our offshore economy, burying gold beneath bygone bastion hill in Grouville that we call a Catian.
That's right, still burying the gold.
They might have to escape the Romans who popped to Caesarea as we crash on into the common era. Past whoever Guerre was, staking his claim by giving the island of Guernsey its name. Past coracles, Britannic Christians rode on their grim and godly missions. Past William Longsword, who in 931 steals us of Brittany. We become part of Normandy, more distinguished as the next Duke William conquers the English. Past Norman lords and exiled sons building their churches and feudal custom. Past cleaners working the shoreline borders, collecting wreck and ormers. Past Jerseyman Wace, who waxed poetic in Norman
Ormers, lovely.
Epics for patronage of Henry II, whose son John loses his French possessions and shows us we are now English dependents by building Montorgueil to defend us against incursions, conflagrations, invasions, ravaged by raiders and nearby neighbours. Past trade in salted conger eel, the leopards granted for our seal, bubonic and pneumonic plagues.
Yeah.
Invaded again.
I can say that because I've been to all these places, and to get that kind of footage that he's getting is really special. It's well done.
When Jersey lurches to Calvinism,
that's our church.
harboring Huguenot asylum seekers, Protestant creeds and screeds and speakers, whilst onwards plough the Jersey farmers whose surly melancholic marches follow their furrows from dawn till nights of conger oil and crasse light, the dances, the arched and granite rooms in
what about the tractors? They have some great tractors in Jersey, some vintage tractors.
Traditions, litigations and superstitions, and the constant clack of needles clicking as man and woman they pick up knitting those
so traditional
jerseys and the very last socks ever worn by Mary Queen of Scots.
My mother-in-law can do that.
Orchards full of apple trees for cider making and eau de vie, and shielding these trees by work of hand, men, women and children enclose the land, built patchworks.
I don't don't really like
Fields and
cider
paths
because it
around
tastes.
us, the countryside that now surrounds
It's an
us.
aftertaste.
Starts
Like,
civil war. Governor Carteret
But I'm not from
Royal
here.
takes
I like rum.
island of retreating royals, launches attacks on the English fleet, hosts Charles II, but has to retreat as Parliament marches us back to the nation.
I hope he gets to
New
that
Jersey's
part.
his after restoration, and although we've no time,
The Caribbean
Patrick is
connection.
instrumental in Britain's early slave trade, so we do have to mention it. Now coasting the
Aha!
Providence, shivering
There we go.
spray,
Slave trade.
islanders race to the Newfoundland trade, invest their money and tie their hopes to our shipbuilders' masts with our chandlers' ropes. Privateers loosed on enemy shipping, boats for every kind of
Oh my
fishing
God,
and
my son would love
merchant
that. It looks like
sail
tug of
upon
war.
the South China
He loves
Seas
tug of
and
war.
Amazon, span the Atlantic, participate in that slave-owning global triangular trade, selling French wine and Jersey socks, selling on barrels of salted cod, bringing home luxuries, odds and sods, Caribbean cotton, rum, sugar, molasses, mahogany from enslaved Honduras, while island wives on tenterhooks keep the homes and balance the books. Past a people rising with the price of bread. When the Sioux loses value, town goes unfed. When the lieutenant bailiff exports his corn, the islanders riot for rights and reforms. Whilst fraudeurs nightly to and fro from Minkies and the Ecrahos spirit the gin smuggled in from St. Malo, traffic out bacco, leaf criminal cargo. The Royal Square rumbles,
Prohibition.
French attack, the Battle of Jersey beaten back by Major Pearson, avenged by Pompey, depicted here by John Singleton Copley.
Oh.
John Wesley visits with high preaching style and spreads Methodism throughout the island. The army widens our ways and roads, building the towers that girdle the coast. We reeve and raid. Napoleon names us a nest of brigands, and England's shame. Oyster fishing, peacetime surges of Breton, Irish and Scottish workers, lots of English. Some live in squalor. There are
Not trying to be
epidemics of
funny, but he could
dysentery,
not have
malaria,
shot this in
cholera,
one day.
and smallpox cured by vaccinations and Pierre Le Sueur.
I mean, Jersey is small, but, like, not that small.
Ensuring now the pedigrees of the Jersey cow. Fraud causes island-wide
Oh,
banking
the
crashes.
Jersey
folk
cow.
emigrate out in their masses. Strange blood sowed in Delahaye's soil unfeasibly formed the Jersey Royal. Early potatoes for English markets exported with
A very
exceptional
protected
markup.
species.
St. Helier serves a steady stream of English
We can't
tourists
even
on
have
paddle
llamas
steamers,
here because
telegraph trains and charabanc
apparently
castles,
their
glass
hooves
houses
affect
guarding
the
Indo
Jersey
tomatoes.
cow
Penultimate
hooves,
20th
so we're not
century
even
dawns, Great
allowed
War
to look at
influenza
llamas here.
spawns, Women's Jersey Political Association, World War II and occupation. We leave, stay, escape, are deported and die. Resist, starve, survive.
It's Liberation
on a prison
Square.
island, until one day after Europe's war, a swastika falls from the Hotel Pomdor, and with a sense of jubilation, force one.
Which is where the Royals were, the Wessexes were there.
Jersey Zoo in the summer season, the first
That
Madeira
hotel.
saved on Gier, low tax banks, trust, financial instruments, bringing us neatly to this
I
millennium.
love it.
Aging
I love
population,
it.
Equal marriages, more cost per capita, anthropogenic as unprecedented as Brexit pandemic, fishing rights, trans rights. We reach the present, and our census shows us how we're quite a diverse group of people now.
Oh,
Kenyans,
damn, he's running out of time.
Romanians, Poles,
Gotta get under 10 minutes.
Lithuanians,
Come on, you can do it.
and Muslims, Madeiran, Portuguese, South Asian, Caribbean, and Chinese. And although they're usually
Woo!
keen to distinguish that
Caribbean!
wave of immigrants,
You can do
known
it.
as
Let's
the
go.
English, whose language makes us anglicise, despite 400-ish speakers today. But we can't get distracted, for goodness sakes. For on the sun rises, and on the sun takes, in almanacs, clocks, and the movement of peoples, standing stones and parish steeples, igneous rocks and epidemics, Neanderthal traces in our genetics, these paths of sun and works of hand shape our pace.
Talk your
shape our
talk,
land.
man.
But we are now up to date, and so, as we say en Jedier, appétit.
Abedon. Lovely. Really well done. Amazing. I can't say anything more. He is just really talented. And I'm going to get to the footage. So let me just talk my talk, please, because I want to talk about some things. So Sophie and Edward were amazing. They were immaculate. They haven't aged a day. And I had one subscriber say that if I met Edward at school in Barbados, then there should be a picture of it. But like, we're talking about 1930, honey, when I was in school. I'm exaggerating. But when I was in school, it also was like, let me explain how I met Prince Edward. He was at Government House, which was the neighbor of our school, and it was with a wall in between, and he reached over the wall to shake hands. So he just shook my hand and he grabbed it and he said, "I'm not lying, huh? You know I don't lie to you." He said, "You're a princess." Okay? And it was such a big moment. It was such a big moment that the teachers and the headmistress told my mom about it, and that's probably why it's like in my memory, because I was only about 5. So what my subscriber was saying was that I should be able to retrieve a picture of that and then present it to him and then have a chat with him about it. Well, you know how it goes. I mean, there's a lot of security. It's not that serious. Like, he's not gonna like actually just like be like, hey, let me see the picture you have there. It's not that easy. I mean, I was there and I tried, but I didn't have a picture because back in the BC days, they didn't have like just people photographing in Barbados at private schools. They just didn't. No, but I'm just so full of joy. It was just a lovely feeling. I think that if you weigh the two things, they're doing a lot more good than bad, if you know what I mean, right? Because they're not really involved in politics. They're involved in serving the people. So it's been amazing. I just wanted to catch you up on that and show you all this footage I have. As I said, I'm just repping my husband's brand here. This is this beach chair concession in Jersey, and also linked to the royal family, because the royal family used to come here before for their honeymoons and their different holidays. And if you're coming to Jersey for the summer, don't forget to support my husband's business, Sunnyside Deckchairs. He has the beach chairs on St. Bernard's Bay, which is the most beautiful beach in Jersey, and I'll just put the footage up here so you can see it.
Come on now, come on, won't you come with me? Time to let it go and be free.
Lots of love to you. Thank you. Oh no, wait, I've turned off one of my lights, but don't forget to subscribe, press the bell notifications. I've just hit 30,000 subscribers, so thank you so much. And I just want to say, oh my God, thank you. And please share it. Share it with your friends who might enjoy this kind of content. Lots of love. Bye.